Come here. You're a failure! Okay, not quite. Let's hold up a second here, right? But in this video, I'm going to reveal why people fail online with an online business based upon working with over 300 coaching clients and also making over 8 figures online in revenue from selling stuff online. First and foremost, I must start this video by saying that a lot of the stuff in this video is action-based and practical advice. It is not just going to be some, hippie kind of think about it and it will happen kind of advice, right? It's all about action-based stuff here to actually get results. So if you're not getting the results that you're looking for online, then this video is going to help you a ton, because it will not only address the things you should not be doing, but also the things you should be doing instead. Alright, so if you are currently making the mistakes, you can fix them. If you're not making the mistakes and something still isn't right, then guess what? I'm going to help you with that too. Now, first off, before we get into anything, we have to define failure, because people think of failure differently. Like, some people will think of failure as they started a business, they invested a bunch of money into it, and it just made a net loss and they had to close the business. To a lot of people, that's failure. But the truth is, if you're not doing anything, if you're just procrastinating the whole getting started thing, and you're learning, and waiting for the perfect moment to get started, you're failing. That's still failing, because anything other than making a profit is failure. And if you're not making a profit, you're failing. So if you're thinking, James, this video isn't really for me, it might be if you haven't yet got started. Now, the first big reason of why people fail is paralysis by analysis. They just get so overwhelmed with everything. They just analyze everything too much before making any kind of decisions and before taking any kind of action. For example, when starting a website, a lot of people overthink the website they buy their domain name from. Should I go with GoDaddy? Should I go with other companies? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the same process. Don't let it take you longer than 10 minutes to register a domain name. Equally, some people procrastinate the decision of, what is my company going to be called? And they spend months thinking of the perfect name because everything else is taken. The reality is, if you haven't figured out a name for your company by the end of the first day, then you need some extra help. Ask your friends, ask your family, whatever. Ask a branding expert, God forbid, and actually get some ideas that are going to be good, because anything longer than a day is just going to delay everything else, and you should never let one thing delay your entire business. That's not how a CEO, or at least a successful CEO, would manage a successful business. Instead, it's all about making those quick decisions as quickly as possible. Don't let one thing delay you. Don't get stuck in that paralysis by analysis mindset. It's terrible. And this is closely related to what beginners do very often, which is come up with a bunch of ideas of why they can't do something instead of why they can. Okay, now I get it. I understand that everyone's life is busy. Everyone has different commitments. For example, you may have kids, you may have animals or pets or a farm to take care of, whatever, right? Everyone has their own lifestyle and their own busy day. But that's it. Everyone has their own day. Everyone has the same 24 hours. So what you do with those 24 hours is up to you, right? Now, with me personally, when I first got started online, I was working at university, doing my university work, but also after that, I was working a part-time job, and then whatever hours I had left over, I would work on my online business. So I did not have a whole bunch of time like I do now, where I work, doing this stuff full-time. Instead, I had maybe 30 minutes a day, and that was it. That's all I had after, eating and doing the usual stuff in my day. I didn't have much time, and the truth is you don't need to block out a whole bunch of time, even if you have 10 minutes. That 10 minutes is long enough for you to come up with an idea for your niche, or for you to research an affiliate offer to promote, or for you to think of an idea for your product, or do some competitor research, or whatever it may be. 10 minutes is more powerful than you think, because you can get a lot done in 10 minutes if you put your mind to it and just don't look through your emails and waste time looking at stats and so on. So, if you are thinking, I'm not doing this yet because of X, Y, Z, whatever excuse, think of it that way. It is an excuse. You're just thinking that it's easier to procrastinate things than actually take action. And that's what a lot of beginners do. They think, I'm going to, make the leap of faith when the time is right, because then it's more safe if I haven't taken action than if I have, and that way I'm not failing if I haven't taken action yet. And that's why it's more safe for people. But the reality is, once again, you're already failing if you haven't taken action. So bite that bullet, get it done, look at your to-do list, what is on it? get it done. Another thing that people get hung up on when starting an online business is the tech side of things. In other words, how do I create a website? I don't know how to do a logo. I don't know how to do anything tech related. I don't know how to install WordPress, whatever. If that's you don't know how to do the tech stuff, and that's holding you back. You have two choices. Choice number one is to learn how to do it yourself. You can take classes at your local college. You can learn online. There are plenty of courses online. Many of them are free. So you can enhance your own education to become good at the tech stuff. Option two is to get somebody else to do this work for you. Now, of course, this does depend on the task at hand, which you need done. But for the most part, you can get most small tasks done for you within the same day on websites like Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already, but that's a great site we use all the time for our own business and also for our clients as well. Simple stuff like installing WordPress for you, designing a logo for your business or whatever. They do it all there really, really cheap, which is awesome. If you have a bigger task, then you can always outsource that to somewhere like Upwork, Elance and so on, which is now called Freelancer, of course. But yeah, those websites are great for outsourcing a much bigger task that would maybe take a bit more hours. Maybe it's a bigger scope of a project. Alternatively, if you want to hire an agency to just do all of the work for you, we have a service like that. Go ahead and check out digitalprosperity.com and click on services at the top in the top menu, and we have a done for you service that we can check out as well if you want. And this leads me nicely onto the next point, which is people try to do everything themselves. Now, as a human being, we are not perfect, right? I will admit fully, I am terrible at graphic design. I'm terrible at most long form copywriting. I'm not too bad with short form, but long form sales pages, I find it really tedious. I don't like doing it. Also, there's plenty of other stuff I'm not very good at as well. So I don't try to be good at everything. And that's what you need to understand as an entrepreneur, is that you don't need to be good at everything. You don't need to be the, jack of all trades, but instead of being terrible at everything, you're actually good at everything, right? That's a very, very rare type of personality where you're good at everything. So instead, focus on your strengths and outsource or automate everything else, okay? I'll say that again. Focus on your strengths, so do what you do best, and then outsource or automate everything else. That way you'll get more done, you'll find it much less stressful and much less overwhelming, but also you're going to get a better outcome because that expert you're outsourcing your stuff to is going to have much better quality of work compared to what you would do if you were bodging it based on your lack of experience in that specific area. The next reason why most people fail with an online business is because they're focusing on non-income generating activities. So I don't know about you, but most beginner entrepreneurs, when they log onto their laptops, what they'll do is they'll check their emails. They'll go through their business emails and spend maybe 30 minutes or so, and then they'll check their stats, maybe another 15 minutes or so, and probably see zeros and think, why am I getting zeros, right? And that's 45 minutes gone already. And before you know it, your kids are interrupting you. You've got planes flying overhead, so you can't record videos. You've got all kinds of stuff in the way, and you've just lost that 45 minutes. A much better approach, if you are kind of crunched for time, is start out with the to-do list item, and then if you have any time left over, go through your emails and stuff after that, okay? So focus on the income generating activity first and foremost when you start work with this online business. That's what I do. I look at my to-do list and think, what is the biggest, most influential or highly leveraged activity I can get done before anything else today? I get that thing done, and then everything else comes second, all right? Because if you finish the day and you've just replied to people, you've just kind of reacted and not been proactive, you haven't really made any progress. You've just kind of reacted and that's it, right? So a much better approach is to bite the bullet, just get that to-do list item done first thing as soon as you start work, and then focus on the other tasks which you may want to do after that if you have time. The next reason why most beginners fail with their online business is because they get so easily distracted by all of these shiny objects and magic bullets. I don't know about you, but when I first started my online business, I was distracted by everything. And I'm thinking like softwares which would generate traffic the very same day, but they wouldn't tell you, they would spam your Facebook profile and get it banned. And then you would have the offers like there's a guy walking on in a robe and then 6 women on his shoulders or in his arms, and then a Lamborghini flies past, and it's like, you can live in this mansion as well, right? All those types of scammy overnight riches offers. I fell for all of them. just like you may have as well, right? That is not going to build a successful business. If you look at all of your competitors and our business as well, looking at it from the outside in, you'll be able to see that we do not use any of those magic softwares or anything else like that. We focus on proven business principles. We're selling something that people want to people who need it, delivering value to those who are looking for it, basically, and we're charging a price for it. That's it. And of course, marketing, branding, and advertising as well, but that's the main principle. So if you're looking at these shiny objects promising the latest hack to get you some money overnight or whatever, don't fall for it. Try and follow a proven plan from A to B. The next thing is one of my favorites. Now, most beginners, when they come to me, they say, James, I want to make $10,000 a month online. I will do anything it takes to get there. And I'm like, great, perfect client, right? We get started with the coaching and whatever. And as soon as an additional cost comes into play, maybe it's even something like $97 a month, they just lose their stuff. To put it politely, they're like, oh, well, you didn't tell me about these additional fees. And suddenly paying out $97 a month to achieve a $10,000 a month income from an online business is just too much, right? So you need to be of the mindset that this is a business. You will have to pay for things in addition to coaching, consulting, done for you services, whatever you choose, whether it's with us or anybody else. They're never going to include everything for you because that's not how life works. It is your business. Think of it from an offline business perspective, right? They need to have premises, which will typically cost about $5,000 to $10,000 per month just to have the place, right? Then they've got to pay employees, then they have to pay for inventory, and before you know it, their overheads or their monthly costs to run their business before they start making a profit are about $10,000 to $15,000, possibly even $20,000 a month. It's ridiculous, but with an online business, people freak out at having to pay $100 a month. End of rant, okay? So don't be one of those people, please. Please be aware that you need to invest in your business for the tools, software, and other small things which are nowhere near as expensive as it would be for an offline business, but you'll still need to invest in them. And this is also true if you're looking for free alternatives to paid software. Often there's a reason why they are paid, because they have to pay their employees, their programmers, and so on to fix bugs. If you're not paying them any money, how can they afford to pay their programmers to fix bugs? They can't, right? So it's really important that you don't always try and look for the free stuff because it's often free for a reason. Another massive reason why most beginners fail with an online business is because they don't treat it like a business, but instead they treat it like a hobby. Let's say they say, you know what, let's do this on the weekend when I have time. Something really vague like the weekend, 48 hours. And then the weekend comes along and their family visits them or their family wants to go out for the day or whatever, and they suddenly don't have any time left, right? And then the next weekend rolls around and the same thing happens again. And before they know it, 6 months have passed and nothing has been achieved. So instead of doing that, see this as a business. And a real business does what? They set deadlines. So say to yourself, if you haven't chosen your niche yet, for example, you could say, Thursday next week, I will have my niche chosen. Friday, I will make a start on my website and hopefully have that finished by the following Friday, and have a specific deadline for your process that you're following in your calendar. Okay? If you're not sure how many hours it's going to take or how many days it's going to take, I would rather you set a rough deadline just with a guesstimate, and then you can always move it. As long as you try your best to achieve something within a specific time frame, you're going to get way more done than you would do seeing this as a hobby. And similarly, if you're not prepared to invest in this business as a business and you see it as a hobby thinking, I don't want to spend $20 on this, and yet you're still expecting to make $10,000 a month, you're going to fail. So those are the main reasons why most beginners fail with an online business. Hopefully you now are aware of those mistakes that people make and you can overcome them using the suggestions I gave, all right? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube below this video, go ahead and also subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, just to make sure you never miss a future video, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.